Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a seriously wild narrative called The Time Travel 2026. And, we aren't just looking at a fun sci-fi adventure about a stressed-out college kid accidentally ending up in ancient Rome. We're actually going to see how his trip perfectly mirrors the classic hero's journey. We're talking a complete, literal transformation from a totally overwhelmed student to a victorious ancient warrior. YouTube won't feed you. Focus on your studies. Get a real job. Ouch, right? But listen, to really understand a hero's journey, we've got to start in their ordinary world. And for our guy, that world was suffocating. I mean, we've all felt the crushing weight of reality at some point, haven't we? Those harsh words from a frustrated parent literally served as the explosive catalyst for this whole crazy story. His college life just felt like this inescapable cage of failing grades and shouting matches, while his absolute passion, making travel vlogs, was just totally dismissed as a fantasy. But that intense pressure, that was the trigger. Unable to take it for one more second, he packs his bags, grabs his best friend, and impulsively books a one-way ticket to Rome, absolutely desperate for a viral video that could change his life. Now, what makes this whole narrative so incredibly gripping is the intense contrast it sets up. It brilliantly illustrates the massive gap between modern anxieties, stressing over algorithms, dead smartphone batteries, figuring out a career path, and the absolute high-stakes life-or-death reality of ancient survival. His problems shift literally in the blink of an eye from, hey, how do I get more views, to, how do I avoid the sharp edge of a sword? It's the ultimate test. What happens when modern man is totally stripped of modern comforts? Okay, let's just dive right into this and map out this legendary transformation. We're going to cover 1. Escape from modern reality. 2. Stranded in ancient Rome. 3. Sanctuary and warrior training. 4. Trial by the arena. And finally, 5. The journey back home. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Escape from modern reality. So our hero is feeling trapped, desperately wanting this travel vlog to blow up just to prove his parents wrong. Well, while wandering around a grand historical museum in Rome, he finds himself in this dimly lit hall of stone sculptures. And sitting right there on an altar is a gleaming golden statue. It has a very, very clear ancient inscription, "Do not touch." Naturally, acting on pure, reckless modern impulse and hunting for that perfect viral clip, he actually reaches out and presses his palm against the forbidden gold. Big mistake. Instantly, the air turns ice cold, the room actually warps, and this blinding, violent wormhole tears open right in front of the altar. An irresistible force just drags him right off his feet, swallowing him into a roaring vortex, and leaving his best friend and his entire modern life behind in a fade of static. Which brings us to Section 2, Stranded in Ancient Rome. Talk about crossing the threshold, right? He crashes incredibly hard onto a dusty, stone-paved road under a scorching sun. The ruins he was literally just taking selfies at, they are now pristine, classical buildings. Try to imagine the sheer culture clash here. You've got locals walking around in linen tunics, and suddenly they spot this guy. To them, his modern jeans, his sneakers, his jacket, it looks like alien armor. He's instantaneously branded a barbarian spy by a completely horrified merchant, and just like that, a whole garrison of soldiers is summoned. Total panic sets in. And honestly, what is a modern kid's very first instinct? Technology, of course. He violently pulls out his smartphone, frantically trying to swipe through pictures of modern skyscrapers and cars just to prove, hey, I'm just a tourist from the future. But man, does that backfire. The situation rapidly escalates into absolute chaos. Instead of marveling at it, the ancient crowd is terrified by the glowing glass. They think it's straight up dark magic. Heavy iron clanks against the cobblestone as Roman soldiers charge at him, swords fully drawn. What follows is a completely frantic, high-octane parkour chase. We're talking sprinting through open-air markets, vaulting over wooden crates, and scrambling up stone ladders onto clay-tiled rooftops, dodging whistling arrows in a desperate, desperate bid for survival. Moving on to Section 3, Sanctuary and Warrior Training. Breathless and absolutely terrified, he manages to slip down an alleyway and literally bursts through the back door of a quiet home. And it's here that he meets his new mentors. A young Roman woman named Livia quickly hides him behind some heavy woven tapestries, literally seconds before the soldiers rush past outside. She graciously offers him bread and water, and soon he meets her extremely athletic older brother, Marcus. Now, this is an absolutely crucial turning point in our hero's journey. Even though their father is eyeing this weird time traveler with deep, deep suspicion, Livia and Marcus are fascinated by him.
They realize pretty quickly that he won't survive a single day out there as he is, so they quietly take our protagonist out into the dense woods and private training grounds outside the city to help him actually adapt to this brutal new world.
This intense training, it goes way beyond just physical strength. It's a massive lesson in discipline. Step 1. Livia teaches him how to ride a horse, patiently guiding him until he can actually gallop without falling off. Step 2. She trains him in archery, really forcing him to master his breathing control before ever letting an arrow fly. And finally, Step 3. Marcus hands him a solid wooden practice sword. They spar daily, relentlessly, until this modern college kid actually learns how to parry, dodge, and strike like a true ancient warrior. And amidst all the sweat and bruises, they even share these moments of pure peace, splashing in a crystal clear river, a million miles away from the modern anxieties of algorithms and college grades. Next up, Section 4. Trial by the Arena.
A hero's journey always requires a supreme ordeal. That brief peace they found, it is violently shattered. Turns out Livia's father, who was still totally convinced the stranger was a curse, secretly reports his location. They're suddenly ambushed by heavy cavalry, dragged right before the magistrate, and the grim sentence is passed: execution in the great amphitheater. Thrown out into the blinding, scorching sunlight of the arena, with thousands roaring from the stone stands, his training is instantly put to the ultimate test. Minute 1. A hungry, snarling lion charges right at him. Relying purely on Livia's movement training, he barely dodges the pounce and uses his shield to keep the beast at bay. Minute 3. 3 veteran gladiators step into the ring. Channeling every single thing Marcus taught him, he parries their heavy strikes, literally kicks up arena dust to blind one of his attackers, and somehow manages to disarm them, one by one.
When that final gladiator's sword clatters onto the sand, the entire massive arena just falls completely dead silent, just for a heartbeat. But then, thousands of spectators absolutely erupt into cheers, chanting "Victor, Victor!" Our hero steps up and forces the magistrate, who is now totally bound by the will of the crowd, to raise his hand and officially grant him his freedom. I mean, against all odds, he has actually conquered the ancient world. Which leads us to our final act, Section 5, the journey back home. Now that he's a free man and, honestly, a proven warrior, it is time to complete the cycle. Outside the amphitheater, Marcus reveals a totally stunning secret. That golden statue our hero touched back in the modern museum, it actually has a twin artifact hidden away in some secluded temple ruins right outside the city. And apparently, it can open a portal back to the future. So at sunset, the 3 of them quietly make their way to this stone vault. As he approaches the ancient altar, something completely incredible happens. His modern smartphone, which had been totally dead and useless for weeks, suddenly boots up. It begins to glitch and glow in perfect synchronization with the golden artifact. He shares this really bittersweet goodbye with Livia and Marcus, thanking them for literally turning him into a warrior. He touches the gold, and boom, the violet wormhole erupts, pulling him right back into the light. Bam! He drops right out of the vortex and crashes down onto hard, modern pavement. Cars are honking, streetlights are flickering above him. He actually made it. But the absolutely crucial takeaway here is his complete character transformation. Remember how he left? He was this totally stressed college kid, feeling trapped, anxious, constantly trying to escape his reality through a glowing screen. But the guy who returned? That is a triumphant traveler. He's empowered, he's victorious, and he is just full of this unbridled joy. He isn't running away from his life anymore. Actually, scratch that. He is running, but he's sprinting right down the middle of the modern road, throwing his hands in the air, just laughing out loud. Because he knows, deep down, he just survived ancient Rome. Nothing in the modern world can touch him now. It's just such an incredible narrative of transformation, and it leaves us all with a truly fascinating question to chew on. Seriously, think about it. If you were completely stripped of your smartphone, your internet, and every single one of your modern comforts today, would your real-world skills actually hold up? Would you adapt, learn the sword, and somehow survive the arena? Or would you just remain the terrified outcast? It is a thrilling reminder to cultivate real resilience, no matter what era you happen to find yourself in. Well, thanks so much for exploring this amazing journey with me today.